Sorry, ma'am, I'm late, ma'am. I didn't get the new link, ma'am. Like my dad sends it every single time, the new link of every meeting. But then this time he forgot to send it, and then I joined the previous meeting links.
Good evening, Zamrez. Can you hear me, bache?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will, in the last class, what did we study? We studied about the history of the cell, right? How was cell being discovered? Who discovered the microscope, right? We learned
Yes.
about our previous microscopes. So today we will start with cell theory. Okay. I have already created a note of it. You can just gradually write your running notes. Clear?
Let me go to the book.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can let the career go to India for separate one. Separate one, Sarah. Huh? That's all. Right? The lot is open one. Already. Very useful.
Here, ma'am.
Okay. So today, see, whenever you play some sport, Zamrez, be it any kind of sport. So whenever you go to a ground, suppose you're unknown about the sport, you first learn what are the basics about the game, right? You have to first know the ground rules before playing it. Correct? Zamrez, I cannot see you. Where did you go? Okay. So similarly, before learning cell, there are certain basic informations. Okay. So the basic information about cell was dealt under the topic cell theory. Okay. Now, who created cell theory? Who set these basic, who found out these basic informations about the cell? Sladen and Swan. Sladen and Swan. Okay. Sladen was a botanist and Swan was a zoologist. You know who was a botanist and who was a zoologist?
The botanist is researches on the plants or something.
Yeah, and zoologist?
Animals.
They do research on animals, right? So this Sladen, if you see, they were living in two different parts of the world. Okay, they were not doing their research together. Sladen did its study in 1838. Okay, he was staying in Germany. So he was studying certain plants and he saw that whatever plants he is studying, all the plants are made up of a similar structure, the compartment like structure, and he called them cell. He just gave a basic name, cell. That every whatever plants I am studying and everything has this basic structure, compartment type. He called them cell. Now, Schwann, he was a zoologist. He was doing something with animals. Okay. And he saw whatever animals he's studying, everyone has a similar kind of compartment structure. So they thought of coming together. So they thought of concluding their research and said that all organisms are made up of cells. Because at that time, let me remind you, Zamrez, we are talking about 1838, 1839. At that time, they just knew that organisms are of two types, plants and animals. They had no clue about microorganisms. They had no clue about viruses. Okay, so they just came together and set one ground rule that whatever living organism exists in the earth, they all are made up of cells. Okay, then comes the next rule, that cell is the fundamental unit of life. They say that since all these organisms, every part of these organisms are made up of cells, so cell is something without which these organisms cannot work, cannot live. So they told that all the organisms in the world have a basic fundamental unit, which is the cell. Okay, so if I talk about the old cell theory, it had only two postulates, that all organisms are made up of cells and cells are the basic structural and functional unit of life. Can you write these two postulates quickly? It is written here. At last, the cell theory was framed. Can you write these 2 points quickly? Let me know once you are done, Zamrez. We'll continue with the third postulate.
Finished, ma'am.
Sorry, yes. So these two, the first two postulates that you can read in front of you are the primitive rules. Okay. Now, what we study now is the modern cell theory. In that, one more scientist was added, Rudolf Virchow. He did his Zamrez, pay attention here, bacha. Rudolf Virchow did his discovery in 1858, which is around 30 years later. Okay. And he came up with a discussion that all cells are made up of pre-existing cells. Okay, and his version was omnis cellula e cellula. He gave in his language, he told omnis cellula e cellula. What do you mean by that? Old new cells come from pre-existing cells. Okay, and when you add the third postulate here, At that time, you call it a modern cell theory. Okay, so if I talk of a modern cell theory, theory will consist of all these three postulates. The third postulate was given by Rudolf Virchow in 1858. Note down, Zamrez. You're not taking down the notes.
I'm not used to running notes, ma'am.
So I am running, you are not running.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am. Sorry for that. I'm back.
Okay. Now, if you look into the third postulate, what is the third postulate, Zamrez?
The discovery.
The third postulate, what is the third point that you have written that Rudolf Virchow discovered?
Discover that there are cells made of cells.
The third one.
Third one. I only know the first two. Cell theory.
You did not write the third one.
All cells arise from a
Please write this point down. Zamrez, don't waste time, Baba. Write down. Done. Done. Zamrez, what are you writing? What PhD notes are you writing?
all cells arise from pre-existing cells.
Done writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Now my question is how do you come to this conclusion? How do you know that all cell arise from pre-existing cells?
Since everything is made of, all living things are made of cells, and cells are living things, so the cells are also made of cells.
Okay, but how do you come to the conclusion that new cells are coming from the old cells? New cells can come, can like born from
All
any.
living things can reproduce or multiply.
You got this theory from the concept of cell division. Okay, remember this for life. Any living cell will divide. And when they divide, then old cells are replaced by the new cells. Clear? Now, moving on. Now we will be talking about organisms in the world. Now we will classify organism based on, you will draw this mind map. Number of cells present.
You have to write like the meaning of unicellular and multicellular. Is the name really self-explanatory?
You just have to write the name, just write down the names, no? Organism, unicellular, multicellular, and few celled. There is one more. The third one is here, okay?
You said.
And just write the examples. That's it.
Um,
ये फिर व्हाट्सएप में कहीं पेश कर दे पेश नहीं करना पेश
Let me know once you are done, Zamrez. Zamrez, what are you drawing? What are you drawing? Done writing? Okay. Now we will be talking classifying cells based on their shapes. Okay. So you can see that a cell can have a lot of shapes. A few cells can be small, a few cells can be as large as ostrich egg, which you can see through your naked eyes. Okay, let me see your art and craft. What were you drawing? Okay. Now moving on. If I talk about the RBCs, you can note down these points. These will come for your Olympiad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 points. Yeah, VVIMP points. God bless you. Let me know once you are done. Zamriz, once you draw RBC, no, once you draw this human red blood cell, after this you have to draw a diagram. I will draw that diagram for you. Since you love to draw so much, let me help you. You will draw this diagram for the first line, for the first point. For the second point, let me draw one more diagram. For the second point, let me draw one more diagram. For the third point, one more diagram. I hope you are drawing these diagrams.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me know once your first diagram is done, Zamrez. Can I rub it?
Yes, ma'am.
First diagram is done, right? Okay. Let me draw the fourth one diagram for you. This is the fourth diagram. Fifth one I'll draw here. This is the fifth one. Let me know once you are done. Zamrez, you are on which point?
Muscles.
Muscles. Done? Yes or no?
Last point.
I hope you're drawing the diagrams with them.
Yes, ma'am.
After you're done writing, no, show me your copy. Done? Show me your copy. I want to see your diagrams. Second. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay. Where is the gut cell? Hey, your RBC has got polio or what? Your RBC have some problem.
What else is in the next page?
Okay, show me. Turn the page and show me. Wait, I
Ah.
cannot see.
Then
Hey, where is your guard cell? Guard cell drawing you have not drawn.
I have, it's just the
I can see Rodolphe Virchow. I can see cell theory.
what? Oh, this is the wrong. Ah, yes, oh, yeah.
Okay, fine. Good. Now, yes.
So why does
Tell me.
why does paramecium look like cucumber?
Paramecium looks like cucumber
This one we can scroll up, but it really looks like cucumber.
because it has to slip inside a human body and it has to feed on the human body, no? That is why it has cucumber-like shape. Okay, moving on. See, Zamrez, whatever shapes you have drawn, no? Every shape has a reason. Okay, if you look into the blood cells, where are these blood cells present? These blood
The
has
blood.
to, yeah, and these blood has to pass through the pipelines of our body, right? The veins, arteries, which are very, very less in diameter. So if they are very, very inflated, they will block, right? They'll block the artery, they'll block the veins. Correct? So that is why if you see their shape, it is biconvex. It is a little squeezed so that it can easily slip through the narrow space. Now moving on to the white blood cell. White blood cell is responsible for the defense system of our body. Whenever we are attacked by outside germs, these white blood cells, they eat up all these germs. So if you see their structure is very similar to that of amoeba. Okay, amoeba also have a similar kind of a structure because amoeba also engulfs its food. Same as white blood cell also engulfs the germs. Now moving on to neurons. Neurons are very, very long structure. Usually the longest neuron is 1 meter long. Now, why do you think that neurons are long? Because neurons or the nerve cells, they're associated with transmission of impulses. Clear? So for that, the reaction has to be quick. How can the reaction be quick? When your nerves are long so that it can transmit the impulses quickly. Clear? Now moving on to muscles, why are they contractile? What do you mean by contractile? They contract. They contract like this. Why are they contractile? Because they are responsible for the movement of your limbs. That is why they need to be spindle shaped, they need to be contractile because they will contract, relax for the locomotion of your body. Clear? Guard cells are bean shaped. Clear? Moving on to structure of a cell. So cell has, see, now we are entering the core of the chapter. Okay, Zamrez? So if I talk of cell has three basic areas. So when I please write this down, okay? When I talk of cell has three basic area. Membrane, cytoplasm,
Yes.
nucleus.
What happened to the mitochondria? Or the
They all will
mitochondria?
come under the cytoplasm part. Done? Now, membranes are of two types. Plasma membrane or cell
Phantom.
wall.
Oops, sorry. But I thought plants have both membrane and cell wall.
Plants have both plasma membrane and cell wall, yes. When I talk of nucleus, nucleus will have
Genetic stuff.
nucleoplasm, nuclear membrane, and genetic material. Please take a note of this. If I talk of cytoplasm, cytoplasm will contain cell organelles and one more thing, ribosomes. Okay. Cell organelle are you writing this? Because this is going to be long.
Um,
Endomembrane system, mitochondria, actually no, let it be. Just let me write down as endomembrane system. Endomembrane system. Endomembrane system are further divided as what should I say? Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, vacuoles, plastid,
how many, ma'am?
mitochondria.
Wait, what? That
Sorry?
mitochondria was
Further, endoplasmic reticulum is further divided as smooth and rough. Maybe organelle that I'm missing out. Centriole, I think. Centriole is not there in your course, what I know. Done writing?
yes, ma'am.
Rough, smooth, everything you have written?
Yes.
Okay. So now, moving on. What are organelle is the first question. So if you see the cell is divided into membranes, cytoplasm and nucleus. So about nucleus, we will discuss these organelles in details now. Okay. So if I talk of membrane, the membrane's main work is, it has two main functions. What is the function of a membrane? It has two main functions. Can you tell me, Zamrez? Use your logic.
To prevent outside stuff to get in and to prevent inside stuff to get out.
It acts as a barrier between outside cell and inside. What else? protection. It can protect the cell. And the third function is provide cell shape.
Can I just put basically a barrier and provides just
It will act as a barrier, it will act as a protector, and it will provide it a shape and it will provide it a shape.
basically a barrier and provides a shape.
Provides shape and it will act as a protector as well.
Yeah, barrier.
No, barrier is very different. Barrier is when the transport is involved. At that time, it is barrier. Done? Cytoplasm is the inner jelly-like.
But you can eat cytoplasm,
Cytoplasm, yes.
so you can eat it
Nah, why will you eat cytoplasm?
because it's jelly-like.
No, jelly-like ground substance. Substance.
Also, can you see red blood cells
Blood cells, you want to see, you can see.
with the naked eye?
No, with the naked eye, no.
What cells
Inner,
can you see with the naked eye?
sorry?
What then what cell? Then what? Ma'am, then what can you
Ostrich egg.
see?
Ostrich egg.
Uh,
Inner jelly-like ground substance in which organelles are suspended. Okay. And what is nucleus? Nucleus is the brain of the cell. Note these points down.
finished. I'm finished, ma'am.
You're done?
Yes.
Okay. Now, moving on. We will be more focused right now on the cell organelles. So first I want to ask you, what do you understand by the term organelles?
Organelles is basically organ is basically organelles on steroids.
Organs are organelles.
Organs are organelles on steroids.
No. Anything randomly you're saying.
It sounds like that.
They are subcellular.
I think I got it. I think it's any number of organelles or specialized structures within a living cell.
It's a subcellular structure that provide
Structures. Structures.
no,
Home.
that make that make cell living,
That
that
provide life.
that provide life and functionality.
They are subcellular.
Why will it have exception? You're just looking for exceptions. Why viruses again? Life and functionality to the cell. Now the organelles can have organelles are of two types. Single membrane and double membrane. Okay, so there are certain organelles that will have single membrane over it, and there are certain types of organelles that will have double membrane over it. We'll look into it a little later. Okay, I just wanted to tell you what's an organelle. Clear?
Can you do quizzes?
We will do quizzes. Just go through this paragraph. Structure of cell. Zamrez, read this paragraph, Zamrez.
Various kinds of cells show special differences. Yeah, they are. Ma'am, so office will you go? Will we do quizzes?
By the time we will finish this, your class will get over.
Okay, then. Various kinds of cells show special differences. Yeah, they all show some basic structural plan, which may be expressed in terms of generalized cells. A generalized cell consists of three essential parts: cell membrane, two nucleus, and cytoplazm, which 2.6 shows
Read,
the structure of
Zamrez,
generalized.
this class is for your understanding.
Yes, ma'am, I'm understanding it, ma'am. Like actually. So basically, there are various kinds of cells that have like different structural plans and stuff. And then they have essential parts like cell membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. Figure 2.6 shows the structure of a generalized animal cell and of a generalized plant cell. Also,
Let me know once you are done.
finished.
Any doubts?
If you're gonna play quizzes.
No, Zamrez, sorry, I don't have quizzes ready today. For the next class, I'll keep it ready. Okay. Chalo. We will move into the next segment. That is cell wall and plasma membrane. Okay. So though we have already discussed, so I'll quickly go through it. Every cell is surrounded by cell membrane or plasma membrane. The cell membrane has fine pores through which substances may enter or leave the cell. Okay, so it is not only acting as a barrier, but it is also acting as an entry or an exit point for various kind of substance in and out of the cell. Clear? Now, next point is about the cell wall. Okay, one more thing about cell membrane is selectively permeable. You can read it here. It's very clearly given. The permeability of cell membrane is selective. What do I mean by that, Zamrez?
Means that the permeability of the cell membrane is.
I cannot hear you.
It means that the permeability of the cell is like.
Zamrez, when you
like the cell can like choose its permeability.
How will it choose?
By being selective.
When you enter your school without your ID card, will they allow you to enter?
Yes.
Why?
Because they will give exceptions.
Zamrez is talking in general. If you enter your school without your school uniform, without your ID card, will they allow you?
They will scold me.
Will they allow you?
Probably.
They will not
Yes.
allow you. No, why? Probably yes, no.
Because you usually have to have a reason to not wear the uniform and come to school, like if it's your birthday.
No, suppose you want me someday to show me your school. I came to your place. You told that, ma'am, let me show your school, my school to you. You take me your school. Will they allow you?
No.
Why? Because because the uniform and the ID card is the identity that you carry, that you belong to this place, right? Similarly, every molecule that is surrounding in the cell, every molecule cannot enter the plasma membrane. Okay, so every plasma membrane will allow only selective molecules to pass through it. Okay, now how will it choose? There are certain kind of receptors that are kept around them, and they'll recognize these receptors, like they will see your ID card. For the for the molecules also, they will see these receptors and they will identify, okay, this molecule should enter inside this particular cell. So that particular molecule will enter inside the plasma membrane. If the molecule is not carrying that particular receptor, then it cannot enter inside that particular cell membrane. Okay, so it is so choosy. Clear? Now moving on to cell wall. Cell wall is very different from that of plasma membrane. Cell wall is 100% permeable. It allows everybody. You go with uniform, without uniform, with anybody. They will allow everyone to enter inside.
They don't care.
They don't care. They know inside plasma membrane is there. Plasma membrane will take care of it. Don't give me headache. Okay? Number one.
So is it called the cell wall?
Because it is the strongest. It is very irresponsible, but yet the strongest one. Plasma membrane is very weak, okay, because it is very thin and it is very flexible. Okay, when I talk of cell wall is rigid, cell wall is strong, and cell wall is thick. That is why it is called the main wall.
Cell wall is Bada Boy.
Huh?
Cell wall is Bada Boy, and cell membrane is Chota Boy.
Yes, Chota boy. Yes. And one more thing. When I talk of plasma membrane is living, but cell wall is dead in nature.
That's why they don't care.
They don't care. They're anyways dead. Whosoever comes, goes, they're anyways dead. Okay. And cell wall is made up of cellulose. But when I talk about plasma membrane are made up of proteins and lipids. Okay. Clear? If you are clear, please write the difference between cell wall and plasma membrane and show it to me and read the
Cell wall is
points.
dead. Plasma
As you have to write and
Yeah,
show
I'll
it.
just type it, ma'am. Cell is that. Cell wall has.
You have to write. My instruction
I'll
is
write it
very
later,
clear.
ma'am. I'll write it later, ma'am.
Where are you typing, Zamrez? I cannot see.
The chat box.
Hmm?
Chat box, ma'am.
Cell wall has no life, membrane does not have. Strong digit. So let's anything to do with it, don't care. Models, below certain molecules and okay. Fine. Zamrez, good news for you. For today, the class is done. Okay. So we are done with cell wall and cell membrane. We will note down. Okay, Zamrez, one more thing. Can you just take a screenshot of this cell wall characteristics? We will discuss this in the next class. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Bye-bye, Zamrez.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.